To start. So just as a heads up. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Owwll Podcast. We have an exciting guest to my left, Nile Fortner. He met with me back in the day 5 years ago when I ran the first Entrepreneurs in Paradise. And if you Google Entrepreneurs in Paradise, you'll see the first article that Nile wrote. And it is all over the internet. There's like 7, 8 articles up there. And I always Google it because I never copy the URL, Nile. And that's my way to get it and tell people about that first event that we did. And we did Entrepreneurs in Paradise 2 yesterday, which was awesome. Danielle Santilli, my co-host, sang at the event, of course. Danielle, that was absolutely awesome hearing you sing for the first time.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a big crowd. I think people really enjoyed themselves. I think we're one of the first businesses to really do a live podcasting event here in South Florida. We had not only one, but 2 podcast booths going throughout the event, and we got to interview local entrepreneurs as well as CEOs who were featured guests at the event. So there was just a lot of networking, a lot of learning and growing, a lot of fun.
I mean, at the end of the day, Owwll's all about networking and changing up the game. It's been so old school all the time. Go to an event, you go to a bar, you just chit-chat at the event, and then you leave and you don't have their contact information lots of times. You go on Instagram, LinkedIn, and everything's so scattered, or a bunch of business cards. And what's cool about the event yesterday was all being recorded. So everyone could go back and find all the people that they were chatting with. And then additionally, we mentioned during the event that you could find everyone on Owwll, because one of the requirements was everyone had to download Owwll in order to enter the event. So it's pretty cool. Hundreds of people downloaded Owwll the last few days, and they're all on there, and they're all applying to become Owwll experts. So you can search for them and then ring them. And of course, Owwll acts as a Rolodex, right, where you can look back at all the calls you made and were taken, and absolutely just connect with them over and over again. So Nile, a little bit about you. Thanks for joining us on the Owwll Podcast today. To start things off, tell our audience what your expertise is.
Well, before I get into that, Jason, I just want to say thank you for inviting me. I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know.
Since the first Entrepreneurs in Paradise, and I'm very thankful that you liked that article, and I think we need to do another one together.
Hey, Entrepreneurs in Paradise 2, it's all yours. Let's go.
All right, yeah, the sequel is always better.
Okay.
But in this case, just a little bit about me. I graduated from Florida Atlantic University, and I'm a multimedia journalist for various publications and online platforms. So I write for the Sun Sentinel, the Miami New Times, and the Parklander magazine, and I really want to put a focus on South Florida and Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Just that way people have more news and more insight on where they're from, and I want to make them feel proud to be here.
Well, that is what our entire event was all about yesterday, right? We literally want to showcase 6 entrepreneurs that had their headquarters in Boca Raton, Florida. And it was so cool because one of the guests was actually part of our last Entrepreneurs in Paradise. That was the cover article, Owwll Jewelry, if you recall.
Yes.
So it was me with their crew, and you took that as the cover photo of Entrepreneurs in Paradise 1, and Owwll was one of the 6 featured entrepreneurs that we highlighted. So it's funny how full circle, right, from 3-4 years ago.
Definitely,
when
yeah.
we did the first one.
And we love Eloise.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us, what has changed? When I met with you in 2019, and then COVID hit, right, and the world online, everything has changed so much, right? Because a lot of people can put out their own content, and of course, you do things a lot differently. So explain to our audience what makes your services different than them just doing everything themselves.
Well, the thing is, with me, I work with a lot of editors, and during COVID, all those editors, they just unfortunately had to go home.
Yep.
So I was left like, what do I do? How do I write these articles? How do I make a little bit of money for myself? So COVID, I don't want to say was a blessing, but you can work around it. So what I did was, everybody knew me as the Boca Raton guy. You cover Boca Raton, you cover FAU. But I said, maybe I can do more than that. So during COVID, I started writing like social media blogs and just really getting out there more often. And I was writing about Fort Lauderdale, Miami. So I became more known as the South Florida guy. So it's like, oh, you're the Boca guy.
Good for you.
You also do this. And I think COVID actually helped with that because it allowed me to, I know this is corny, but spread my wings a little bit. And I just decided to do a lot more than what people were expecting from me. And I think that really actually plays into the variety. That way I have variety, but people realize South Florida also has variety too.
What's the hottest section in town right now? Is it Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Boca?
Well,
Delray?
honestly, I'm gonna say Boca Raton. You want to know why?
Why? I'm curious.
We have a lot of good restaurants opening here. That's why.
That's true. Meisner Park. I think American Social is opening soon.
That's right. And I just wrote
Sweet.
about the foodie therapist on Instagram. We met up at the new Kapow, and it looks amazing there.
Vaughn was out at our event last night. He was co-hosting one of our interactive podcasts, and he did a hell of a job. And of course, Kapow's amazing.
Oh yeah, I love that. I could eat there every day.
Absolutely. And then in Boca, you're so close to all the airports where they have a private one.
Yes.
And then they also have Fort Lauderdale or West Palm Beach. You go to either one, which makes it very unique. And of course, FAU, right? March Madness. They have a big event tonight, showcasing all the players. You can meet and greet them at the Meisner Amphitheater. And it's just a hot town right now. That's football starting with FAU as well.
That's right.
The stadium looks beautiful, right?
Oh yeah, Boca's the place to be right now, not just for FAU, but honestly, Boca's the place to be for everything. I feel like you get so much variety here, and that's what I like about
So
it.
we picked a good name, is what you're saying over there.
Oh yeah.
Happened to go with Owwll, right?
Oh yeah, go Owwls.
Danielle wearing an Owwll t-shirt today. Not t-shirt,
I know.
hoodie. You were wearing a t-shirt last night. Cool.
I'm curious, do you have a certain type of event that's sort of your favorite to cover right now? I know we were talking about fashion earlier. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been working a lot with Fort Lauderdale Fashion Week, and they have a lot of great events.
Yeah.
And I think you guys could actually be there. Like I said, I love your hooded sweatshirt. That's fashion right there. But I really do like events that focus a lot on arts and culture. So if it's a musician, or if it's an artist, if it's an entrepreneur event, just something that showcases people's talent. That's what I really enjoy.
Well, we need to talk after this.
Well, we all.
Because I'm a musician, songwriter. I know a lot of different. We actually have, through one of our podcast guests, he's doing next weekend a big songwriters event for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation in Palm Beach, or Jupiter, I guess. So we'll have to talk about that. It's going to be a big event.
Oh yeah, we'll chat later.
Yeah.
And you are correct about the Owwll brand. People love wearing our shirts, our hoodies. A lot of brands give out t-shirts and you never see anyone wearing them. Like I go to conference after conference and I get another one, like, oh, I'll take a t-shirt. And before you know it, I got a stack of them in my closet and I never wear them.
I wear them to bed. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, but what's interesting with Owwll, it's different. Like you saw last night at the event, like people grabbing them. They were going to the bathroom and putting them on. And they were cutting them out on the female, so it's kind of more like a V-neck.
It's the cute little owl. I think that's the best part. People
Yeah,
like
I think
owls.
people, they do like owls, and of course it's the animal of intelligence and wisdom, and people really, feel part of the brand when they wear it, I find a lot. And of course the same thing goes for the FAU owls, right? Obviously we're not associated with them, but, I know being an alumni of FAU means a lot to you.
It does actually. I love FAU.
Yes, so do I, with the other podcasts we on the Shroom Tank. They've been an incredible partner. And last night, we got the opportunity to kind of hang out with Roland Kidwell and Kevin Cox, co-hosting the whole entire event with us. So it was pretty cool. They came on board early on and cared about entrepreneurship. They didn't worry so much about the red tape because so many universities just skip over entrepreneurship today. It's the old school, college of business. And there's a couple classes here or there with entrepreneurship, but not a major. But FAU has a major with entrepreneurship, which is pretty awesome. So let's touch base on networking, right? You go to all these events, and the individuals you just mentioned are really hard to get on a phone call with or responding to an email. Folks in fashion are just getting hammered with Instagram messages, of course, and they don't know how to really kind of handle all the incoming messages, like who's the right person to chat with, who could really do what you're saying, right, and what you do. Because often I get 100 emails a day, just being, run Owwll and then my other business in the financial service industry, and it's overwhelming. You just kind of have to quickly look at it and make a decision. But in person, obviously that's a game changer when someone would look at the outfit you're wearing, which you're coming with style today, right, and you're put together. But how do you network? What is your trick to getting the right people to then partner with and write these articles, and then of course get them out to the right magazines at the end of the day?
Well, Instagram is a huge one.
Yeah.
People are putting out what they want to do, what they're interested in. So you can look at Instagram and find who you actually want to network with. And it's not just Instagram, it's Facebook, it's Owwll, it's LinkedIn, it's all these platforms. And we're lucky because, our family members back in the past did not have these things.
Nope.
So you can network now more than ever. But going back to...
It looks like we are hooked up to Bluetooth in one directions. Going to Park Place over here.
Even Bluetooth wants to network right now.
Absolutely.
But just going back to doing it in person, a lot of people, when they come to these events, they see it as a chance to maybe talk to some pretty girls, drink some booze, and really not make it what it's worth.
Of course.
But if you go prepared, you go wanting to have the right intentions to meet people, do the old-fashioned thing and give a business card, give a compliment, and then drink some booze and talk to some pretty girls, then you're networking. And it's really just making that connection with someone and making a lasting impression. But I really think if you just send a proper email, word it correctly, and just really be honest with people about your intentions, I want to work with you, and they actually will be open to it, because so many people nowadays, they beat around the bush, they don't get to the point. But I find people respect it when you're like, no, this is what I'm about, and I think this is how we can benefit each other.
Now, is there a cost to working with you? How does this completely work? Peel back the onion for a minute. You reach out to someone, you want to write an article about their business or themselves, right? Kind of explain the process a little further.
Well, sometimes these editors, they actually give me stories to do.
Gotcha.
But a lot of it, I say it's 50-50. They give me stories, but I also provide them with insights on things like we can do. Like with the Entrepreneurs in Paradise.
Okay.
Truthfully, they didn't know about that event, but I told them, this awesome guy named Jason Hill is doing this event, and you gotta, give me a chance. You gotta give him a chance. And they're like, okay. Which goes back to how you sell something. So if you're selling them a story, they will be open to it.
That's a pretty good name too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Entrepreneurs in Paradise.
Oh yeah, who doesn't like that name?
Yeah, we're gonna keep that one going. So this year was the second one we've done, but as we can continue to do it, we'll do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, let's make this a franchise.
Of course.
I'm curious, I can tell that you're passionate about what you do. Did you always know that this was something you wanted to do? Obviously, you're a graduate from FAU. Did you study this? How did you get into this?
Yes, I did study this at FAU, and even at Broward College, I did multimedia studies, and I always loved storytelling. I always loved writing since I was a kid. So when I got a little older, I'm like, I love movies, I love comic books, I love characters. How awesome would it be to, the way people cheer for these characters, the way they cheer for a Rocky Balboa, how awesome would it be if they cheered for people who were their neighbors, who were their classmates, who were the people on the left, the people on the right. And that's when I said, maybe I could write about my student, the classmates. So I was part of the student blog at Piper High School a long time ago. And they're like, yeah, just write about the student of the week and whatnot. And I had a great teacher named Mr. Conde, and he said, you're really good at this, writing stories about the community and local people. Why don't you consider journalism? And then I said, I'll think about it. And here we are, years later.
Wow.
And that's where we are.
Okay, we're gonna have some fun now. We're gonna call people that are on the Owwll platform, and we're gonna pull them into this podcast. We just started doing this the last 2 shows. So as they,
Make sure the Bluetooth is on here.
yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanna make sure. Yeah.
I was calling them.
I know, it was ringing. Anyway, it's fine. There you go.
Okay, we're gonna be calling Joel. Hey Joel, welcome to the Owwll podcast. How are you doing today? You're with me, Danielle, and Nile. And we are doing something new. Right now it's streaming Facebook Live, and we're calling different Owwll experts on the platform to pull you into the live show, of course. So Joel, tell us a little bit about your expertise. Nile wants to know, and keep it to 30 seconds or less. You can make this shit up. I agree. It's crazy out there, Joel. Last night I had an event and someone tried to fight me at the end of it. And I was like, and it made no sense. They came right over to me and they had the wrong person. And you cannot make that shit up sometimes. But Nile and you do something similar. He writes a lot of, editorials, for people in the fashion business, politics, anything under the sun. Do you mess with politics at all, Nile?
I've gotten into politics, and like you, people have tried to fight me.
So can you ask Joel a question? Does something come to mind when it comes to politics that you want to pick his brain up?
Well, not so much politics, but public relations. I've worked in public relations as well. I just have a question for you. How do you personally pitch, your press releases and your news to major media outlets or even local outlets? All right, I like the way you think. I wish I got some stuff from you as well, because I get a lot of emails, and honestly, you seem like you have a good head on your shoulder. Amen, and you can't make that shit up.
And Joel, you're Nile's first Owwll call, right? He's just experienced it. How cool is this? We were just talking right before you joined, Joel, that how he networks in person and on Instagram and on LinkedIn, and just being himself, and then making the right contacts, and of course just providing value to the relationships that he builds. And here we are now. How cool is that?
This is
Right?
amazing. I love this.
You can literally call someone, just generally have a conversation. Oh, Joel, did we lose you? Oh, there he is. Okay. I love that you just brought that up. The dollar call that's going to become $25. Because I see all these CEOs, that come on either of our podcasts, the Shrimp Tank or the Owwll one, and we feature them every single week. And they go live, and I'm like, why is no one calling them? They're $1, and they should not be $1. You know how hard it is to get in touch with Gio. Gio gets hundreds of messages. He got like 50,000 plus followers on Instagram and 80 plus employees out in Miami run stream. And he's a very busy individual. And then you get on there and you call him for $1, and then just pick his brain about his technology and how he does live streaming, with a lot of his big clients. That's awesome. And vice versa, right? He wouldn't have had that opportunity. Like, he was making $1, but then at the day, it's like, now he's sitting here like, this is awesome. I just made an opportunity, and you're using his technology, and I'm using his technology as well. We have to try it out. We wanted to get to our event yesterday, and next week we're going to give it a shot as well, so we get multiple camera angles at both of our podcasts. Oh, Michael Oz. Yeah, last night he brought a car, and we had the Owwll logo on it and his logo on it. He's phenomenal.
Definitely.
Well, Joel, thank you for joining us on the Owwll podcast. Go ahead and hook up over on Facebook Live, and you'll get to listen to yourself and see what Nile looks like. And Nile's going to become an expert today on the platform. So when Nile drives out of here and he goes live when he's driving home, I expect you to give him a ring. Is that a deal?
I got you.
She's got you. She's got you.
I got you. Thank you.
Take care, Joel.
Take care, Joel.
Bye.
So Nile, that's pretty awesome, right?
It is awesome. I don't know who Joel is, but now I do. I love that.
Yeah, Joel's down here in Florida, and he's one of the Owwll brand ambassadors. He saw the value of the platform immediately, and he wanted to take a deeper dive with our brands. We have about 50 brand ambassadors. Our goal is to scale over 100 with just like-minded individuals that really need to network for their business and want to do it through Owwll. A different approach than your typical Instagram messaging or LinkedIn messaging, which is becoming harder and harder today because so many people are getting spammed so much. I know you have the same problem. I bet at least 50% of all incoming messages are spam. Was that about accurate? You would say?
Yeah, that's about accurate. And I just want to say thank you for telling me about this. And also, Brian Ramble did an amazing job explaining this to me because he just made it so clear and he made me want to just dive into it. So I really appreciate that, Brian.
Cool. We're gonna call one last person. She's on the other side of the country. Her name's Connie, and she's doing something pretty big. So you're gonna have a nice article to write when you hear her story and what she's trying to pull off. It's cool when you get this amazing audience on Owwll that is trying to impact the world. Right? We are ourselves as a brand, but everyone on the platform and many individuals doing the same thing. Right? It's one thing to just focus on one little core expertise versus something very big, that will impact millions and millions of people. Looks like Connie might not be picking up right now, though. Occasionally, people say they are available, and unfortunately, the phone could be in the other room, they're running to the bathroom or something. So we'll try one other individual. Eric
Allen.
Cool. Okay, we're getting
Second
Eric.
official call on Owwll.
Eric Allen flew all the way from Oregon to come to the event yesterday.
Wow.
And he was our last guest on the Owwll podcast. And, just phenomenal individual. See if he's picking up. He also was at the airport, so he's probably in a taxi
he
right
did
now.
call me earlier, but he might be getting on the plane, so.
How many hours is that from Oregon to Boca?
He had to stop in California. I think he went to LA and then he had to do a flight, but probably 5 hours one way.
Okay.
And then another, I bet, 2 hours once you're in LA. Okay, unfortunately they didn't pick up, so we're not gonna be able to ring them in. So we're good.
Good, yeah. We got
So-
one pretty long, good call.
So Nile, now you see the value of the platform. So everyone listening, Nile's gonna sign up. His last name is spelled Fortner. So search for him through the filter search, and then give him a ring. And I'm sure you can pick his brain about trying to get your brand more noticed out in whatever sector it has to be in, of course. Nile, do you want to say anything to the audience? How do they find you, for example? What's the best route?
Yeah, you can find me on Owwll, obviously. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. I share a lot of news updates, such as what I'm currently writing and community happenings. And you can actually just get in touch with me through email at nilefortner@gmail.com. That works too. And I'll tell you what I tell everyone. You know where to find me.
Which I like about you. Right before your episode, I'm on your website, crystal clear. All your social handles, your email, your phone number. So often everyone hides their phone number today. It's like, no, you're trying to be in business, where you're trying to make it easy for people, to get in touch with you. And unfortunately, too often people have too many roadblocks. But in your field, it's a necessity. You want people to be able to reach out. And Danielle, thanks again for co-hosting the show with me. And of course, singing last night, that was absolutely awesome. And we're going to have you back on the next Entrepreneurs Paradise. Of course, doing some more singing, of course. Well, Niall, thanks for joining us on the Owwll podcast. Everybody listening, we'll be back next Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Take care. Peace. We're still live. We're still live.